Welcome back to the channel. This is Wes. It's time to take a critical look at Dark Crisis number 3 and Batman 126. And who better to talk about this than the DC aficionado himself, Josh? How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little stuffy nosed today. I don't know. I just finished traveling. Hopefully it's just, plane crud and not COVID. We'll see. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm happy to talk comics. I've missed a couple of these weeks between my work schedule and then traveling. So I'm happy to be able to sit down and just talk about some good old comic books with you.
I'm excited for this. Do you want to do Dark Crisis or Batman first?
Let's do Batman first. Then we'll end with the big event.
All right, well, let's do Batman 126, Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez. This is the second issue with them on it. This is an action-packed issue, and it really does establish Failsafe as an enormous threat to Batman. But first, we get these kind of intimate moments of Batman thinking about the Bat family and how young the characters are and how instrumental he's been in their lives and how instrumental they are in helping him out. But there was an odd exchange, I thought, between him and Tim regarding the neck wound that he received, and Tim kind of came off as a little bit more of a jerk than he normally does.
This is the best that Tim has been written in a while, so I don't want to complain too much about it. But Tim has always been a little headstrong, and especially towards the end, before Flashpoint, he became very headstrong, and he was not opposed to opposing Bruce. I got a sense of that here. I'm okay with seeing that here. But yeah, he kind of came off a little meaner than I probably would have in that moment. But overall, I'm not minding the characterization here. I'm just happy to see Tim kind of standing independently and working and operating and thinking on his own.
I'm just glad they're together again. When's the last time we saw him as Robin to Batman? It only makes sense.
100%. 100%. You're mentioning the opening. I do want to say I really liked this issue a lot. The only thing I disliked about it was I feel like we went real fast from where we left off in the first issue of Zdarsky's run to where we are now. And
this thing does go by fast because there's not a lot of dialogue in here, Josh, because it's mostly action, and it's really set up to make Failsafe look like this enormous threat. We get this initial confrontation between Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Failsafe. He kind of sneaks up behind him and gets the drop on him, and Bruce Wayne has nothing to offer for this character. Failsafe is just beating him to a pulp. It looks like he's going to murder him at any moment. And Batman is thinking to himself, not here, not now. I don't want to die, upping the stakes of what's happening. And there's just this fantastic moment from Jorge Jimenez as the artist. And the only way Bruce can save himself is he calls for the Batmobile to escape. And then he shoots his harpoon to hook onto the Batmobile, and it drags him out of the Batcave, which I thought was a really cool moment and seems smart on the part of Batman. But the art was really dope in that one.
The art was super dope. I'm laughing because he called it a harpoon instead of a grappling hook, but
it's on the fly.
No, it was a great moment. And I think the setup too, I was fine with the Failsafe stuff. Failsafe kind of got introduced in that first issue for a split second, and then he just comes in and comes at you from the side and knocks the crap out of you in this book. I liked the way that both Zdarsky and Jimenez progressed this fight. Because you have Failsafe come in and he just gets the jump on Batman. And, Batman's mentality is oh, crap, I need to focus to take this guy. And then he does get in that mindset and he still is getting the crap beat out of him. And that's when he's like, I need to get out of here, not today. Because he realized that if he tries to keep doing this, he is going to die. And that definitely raises the stakes a little bit. So he calls the Batmobile, like you said, he gets his grappling hook, hooks on, and just tries to evade. And it was a great moment. And then we kind of from here start to get the payoff of how this issue started with him, I guess reminiscing on his children, quote unquote, the Bat family. A number of them come into play, and it's a nice little moment here.
We never see Signal. Signal's the first one to jump in there. We see Cassandra Cain. We see Stephanie Brown. I think even Tim Drake shows up as well. Yep. And they're fighting him. And to up the stakes and really establish the villain even more, he's kind of just beating the piss out of them. At one point, Batman is nervous. He thinks maybe Stephanie Brown's dead, and he's relieved when he sees that she has vital signs still.
Yeah, he sees that she's breathing. And, we always talk about nuance in the writing, right? There's so much nuance here, and some of it is done visually before you actually get the dialogue confirming it. But, you have the heroes come in. They all start taking their swipes at Failsafe. You even have Oracle that's trying to break in from a technological aspect to, one, determine, maybe what this suit is capable of or what it's made from or who sent it. She's not having much luck. The closest thing she can find is that it is somewhat similar to Amazo. But, yeah, they're all just getting the crap beat out of them. But Failsafe is not going for lethal measures with the Bat family like he is with Batman. So that was an interesting kind of reveal, especially how they did it, because he's still brutal with everyone, but he's not looking to end their life. And with Batman, it's very clear he's looking to end Batman's life.
And then we see Dick Grayson, Nightwing, finally show up on the scene. He ends up shooting his motorcycle on him, exploding him. That doesn't stop Failsafe. He starts hitting him with his stick. Oh, he's got sticks and still beats the crap out of him. And they all basically just make it out by the skin of their teeth. They say we need to go back to the Batcave, and Failsafe remembers that. And it turns out he infiltrates the Bat security because he takes the Signal's helmet. He's able to kind of get into and infiltrate their security system, but they don't go back to that Batcave. They go to the old one, and they barely make it out alive. But it turns out Tompkins is in the new Batcave, so she's at risk. I don't even know what happened to her.
Yeah, we don't know what happens to Leslie. Leslie's supposed to be meeting Bruce to help patch him up because that's how badly he's been beaten. So she's waiting. Failsafe shows up. Batman and Tim go to the old Batcave for reasons that are revealed on the very last page of this. But yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. It's just a really quick like gut punch to kind of get you in the mode of the story, and it does not stop. Once it starts, this book does not stop. It just keeps going.
So we do get to the old Batcave at the end. We got Tim Drake, we got Bruce Wayne, and Bruce is saying, I know something about Failsafe, but I can't remember, but I remember everything. Obviously, this is coming from somewhere in my subconscious, but I can't access it. So I guess he decides he's going to do something. He tells Tim, like, I only can do this alone. You can't come with me. He goes and he finds this old box, and out emerges the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, which apparently they're just doing homages to Grant Morrison Batman stories the past 2 weeks. And we see this weird version of Batman that I think started out as maybe a cosmic god, but then was retconned into being part of his personality that's dormant, and that's even more brutal and will do anything to win, kind of any cost, any measure type of character that emerges at the very end.
Yeah, it's kind of like a last stakes type thing that Batman has built into his subconscious that he can kind of tap into. Yeah, pretty much. I might be the minority here, but I'm not the biggest fan of Batman Zur-En-Arrh, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see where this is going. I mentioned earlier that all of this seems really fast. I feel like this should have been the end of issue 3 or 4. I'm not
asking for more deconstructed comic books, John.
I'm not saying.
Thank you for taking up the pace.
I'm just saying that there was plenty for them to deal with before Failsafe even jumped into the picture. And I would have liked more of this fallout between Penguin and what's going on. Because I feel like when you go from 125 and everything the Penguin set forth in motion to this, it almost feels like two completely different stories. That's all I'm saying. But it is what it is. We got it. It's high action. It's a lot of fun to read. It caught me off guard. I think that was the purpose. I think that's part of why Chip Zdarsky wrote it this way. I'm not asking for decompressed storytelling. It was a lot all at once.
I like this issue. I'm absolutely recommending it. It's like a 4.5 star out of 5 comic book, in my opinion. I don't think the visuals are quite as striking as they were in the very first issue, but the action is so fast paced that I think Jorge Jimenez was doing that intentional with the story itself to make it feel like you're in the middle of this enormous train wreck.
Absolutely. I think Jimenez for that first issue was going for more of a cinematic feel. Here, he wanted to make sure he was providing the energy that was going to support this fight. And he delivered 100%. Like I said, once you start this issue, it does not stop. It's unrelenting. And it's just like page. And it's not one of those quick reads where you feel like you've been cheated. Like there's still plenty of substance here, and you gain enough that you finish this and you're like, wow, all right, give me the next issue.
And the villain is fully established as being quite the threat for Batman and the Bat family. He can essentially take them all on in a fair fight. Now let's go to something that might not be paced quite to our liking. Dark Crisis #3, Joshua Williamson, Daniel Sampere. I guess we should call it Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. But if you look at the cover here, Josh, and maybe it's the cynic inside of me that says maybe DC's going for a semi-cash grab here by releasing the comic book as Dark Crisis #3 so they can reissue the first 3 issues with the new name.
Yeah. Ugh. It's 100% a cash grab. Like we've talked about this before. This is a situation of, their event wasn't hitting like it needed to. They're trying to find a way to get more buy-in from customers. So adding that of Infinite Earths is going to in their minds cause a boost. Whether it does or not, we'll see. But the reprinting approach, that's 100% a cash grab. You mentioned, yeah, no, same. I'm giving so much side eye to this book at this point that I'm like, whatever. I mean, but there's so many things that are going on that just don't line up. Like continuity wise, it's not falling into place. Pacing wise, what you just mentioned and what I want to talk about first, it just, I don't know, man. Like it doesn't feel like the event has actually started yet. I feel like
this is the problem, I think, Josh.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be called anything crisis. It's not a crisis event. This is the Death of the Justice League, a 7-issue event, or this is Justice League Generation Lost, a 7-issue event, or something along that line where the expectations for the readers would have been a little bit more lower in scale, and the story would be fine because technically there's nothing wrong with it. I think that they haven't delivered on some of the things that they said they were going to deliver on, specifically the Nightwing Deathstroke fight, and then this issue, the Green Lantern Dark Army or Army of Darkness fight. I don't think they actually do that. But if they didn't call it Dark Crisis or Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, nobody would be expecting things on such a scale to warrant a crisis. You know what I mean?
100% agreed. And that's the thing. And that's, setup is fine. Stories need setup. And I'm happy with the setup. And you're getting little tidbits of pieces here and there that feel like they could be event worthy for an event title. But so much of this so far, 3 issues in, just feels like it's setup. What worries me is that we're going to get to when the story should actually be kicking off and there's not going to be enough space to tell the story well. And that's what I'm concerned about. I don't think we're going to get a payoff that's going to feel like it's been earned because so much time is just kind of being spent, honestly, with a lot of the teams being like, we're a Justice League. You're not a Justice League. Well, we can be a Justice League. No, you're not prepared. Oh, we just want to provide hope. Hope's not going to do any good. We've gotten 3 issues of pretty much that, and that's it.
You're talking about the inconsistencies. That's one of the things that really strikes me at this is the reader knows so much more information about everything that's going on than the heroes themselves that they're talking about stakes that don't exist.
Yep.
When they go, oh my goodness, Deathstroke's going to murder everybody, I roll my eyes in the back of my head and say, no, he's not. He was told he can't murder everybody. Pariah is the one that stopped him from killing Nightwing in the last issue. So they're talking about stakes that don't exist in the story because the narrative and the information that you and I have, of course, we also know because they've told us the Justice League aren't dead, but the heroes still think they are. It's like, I'm just waiting for them to catch up for all the stuff that I know. And I don't think that works in a story like this.
No, not at all. Because from a reader's perspective, when you have the situation where the reader knows more than the characters, you feel like you're just treading water. And that's what it feels. That's part of the reason you have pacing issues is like, we're just waiting for everyone else to get caught up so something can happen. And I guess in the meantime, we're stuck in that loop there until something actually does happen that's new to us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of way forward in here. We do finally see Jarl Flor shows up, and she agrees to join the Justice League, but the Justice League's fractured because Black Adam is trying to trade him, and he says they're soft, and they're not willing to kill, and he wants to torture somebody. There's going to be this fight between he and John Kent, and Black Adam's like, you guys aren't taking this seriously enough, so we don't have a Justice League. And I guess that leads into this big, what's supposed to be a cool moment. I like the JSA. Little Alan Scott. I like seeing some Hawkman, some Hawk Girl. We think we got a Dr. Fate in there. We got a lot of cool characters. And it's only 1 page. Yeah. Literally 1 page.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a situation of more letdown. Again, it feels like setup. It feels like setup for the event that's coming. It feels like Dark Crisis should be starting once you've got the Justice Society fully established, this new Justice League fully established, the other reveal that's on the last page that we'll talk about here in a second, fully established. And once that's all set up, it feels like then your event should start. The benefit of having the Justice Society show up is it actually feels like we have some valid heavy hitters again, because it didn't feel like we had some heavy hitters for our heroes there for a while.
Absolutely. Finally, Mr. Terrific showed up. Wonder Girl, we had some Power Girl, we had some cool characters in there. And then we get to the point that, it's on the cover. It says the Green Lantern Corps is going to fight the Dark Army. And I was excited for this. Like, hey, this is fan service. It's going to be fun. I think the Green Lantern Corps is going to lose, but we're going to see this big battle.
Yep.
They get out there to, Necron? I think that's where the Black Lantern Corps is. Hal Jordan believes that that's where the Dark Army or Pariah may be. And they show up there, and he's like, I'm going to go in alone. And what's her name? Joe Mullins throws him some side eye. Who else we get?
Kyle Rayner is like, yeah, no, you're not going in alone, dude. So you've got those 3 that go in, and everyone else is like, all right, cool, we'll hang back here.
We'll hang out here, do nothing.
Yeah.
And they touch the lantern, they go inside, and Pariah's there, and they have a conversation.
Pretty much.
It's like, where's the fight?
Yeah, there's not a fight, and then you see all these different like glowing orbs with the.
Of course,
they
gotta have the logos. Of the heroes.
They've got the logos for all the different heroes, and Hal goes up and grabs the Green Lantern one, and Pariah's like, "No, you can't.
Don't touch my worlds." And then he goes, "Those are weapons," or something silly like that.
They get like Hal gets absorbed into this other world that is Sector of John Stewart.
This is John Stewart's Happiness Multiverse.
Yeah.
Where apparently it's named after him.
Yeah. Stroke that ego there for a second. So Black Adam leaves the Justice League because he's like, look, these kids, they're not going to cut it. And he leaves before the Justice Society shows up. So he doesn't know that these tenured heroes are now there. But he leaves and he's like, these kids are searching for hope. Because Black Adam is like, hey, you can't keep fighting this fair fight right now. If you fight the fair fight, you're going to lose. Your Justice League was trying to fight the fair fight and they lost. You have to go beyond that. And John is completely opposed, and other heroes are kind of like backing him of like, no, we have to stand for hope. So Black Adam leaves. He's like, screw this. We need to win. They can believe in hope. I'm going to believe in doom. And you see Lex Luthor there with a bunch of villains. So
the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
We're almost halfway through this event.
Yeah.
Nothing's really happened. It didn't really move very far. Jarl Thor came back.
Yep.
They lost Hal Jordan. Now he's in John Stewart's multiverse. What else happened?
That's about it.
Black Adam left so he could recruit the
Legion of Doom. Yeah.
Doom.
But nothing has actually really happened. So
and there are no stakes because Deathstroke specifically isn't murdering anybody. He's just coughing black stuff on people.
Yeah, which is apparently making them like turn more evil. Maybe we don't know, or it's
Pariah won't let him kill anybody, so it's not that evil.
So it's like, all right, cool.
You go be rude to people.
Go have threatening comments and glances, but don't do anything bad.
Like if it wasn't a crisis event, maybe it would read better. If I didn't have expectations about Hal Jordan, my favorite character, fighting the Dark Army, maybe it would be better. If I didn't have expectations regarding another favorite character of mine, Nightwing fighting Deathstroke to the death, maybe these wouldn't be disappointing. But it feels like they've kind of hit it at these major events happening, and it's just kind of let down. I mean, it's not Dark Crisis Young Justice, but nothing really is. That thing's terrible.
Oh, yeah, that's probably one of the worst comic books published of all time. So,
Do you have any final words on this one? I'm not recommending Dark Crisis #3.
No, I like Joshua Williamson. I wish him the best, but I don't think this is turning out to be what he hoped it was. And maybe we're seeing why DC didn't back it. Maybe we're seeing why the editors and stuff didn't push for it. Like, he complained that he wasn't getting much support. Maybe it's because it just wasn't that good.
As Josh and I alluded to earlier in here, it's no longer Dark Crisis. It's Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths because DC Comics are infinitely desperate to do anything to get this thing to sell and make them some money. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on with Warner Brothers Discovery, which DC Films, DC Comics are a part of. But this was a desperate measure and a desperate DC Comics trying to do anything to get people to buy it.